Good day, brothers and sisters. Welcome to this moment we share together, reflecting on the Word of God. Today we'll be reflecting on the Gospel reading of the 13th Sunday in Ordinary Time. The reading is taken from Matthew chapter 10, 37 to 42. I read. Jesus said to his disciples, "Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take up the cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Those who find their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake will find it. Whoever welcomes you welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet in the name of a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and whoever welcomes a righteous person in the name of a righteous person will receive the reward of the righteous. And whoever gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones in the name of a disciple, truly I tell you, none of these will lose their reward." The Gospel of the Lord. So, brothers and sisters, this little passage of Matthew has two parts. The first part runs from verses 37 to 39 and is addressed to the radical followers of Christ. The second part is addressed to those who receive these followers. Of course, Jesus was all the while speaking. The first part speaks directly to those who follow Jesus, especially those who have chosen to follow him radically. These people, according to the words of Jesus, are supposed to live a life of sacrifice for the sake of Jesus. They have to love Jesus more than their parents and children. They have to take up their cross and follow Jesus. To understand the nature of the sacrifice they are making, we have to make some reference to the second part of Jesus' discourse, which runs from verses 38 to 42. These people are to be received by others, these followers of Jesus, and they will live and depend on the goodwill of those who receive them. Whoever receives you receives me, Jesus says. They will be received like prophets. Those who receive them will also have the reward of prophets. Now, the mention of prophets in this passage is significant because it refers us to the first reading of today. For this reason, we shall take a brief look at the first reading from the second book of Kings. A certain Shunammite woman used to provide for Elisha whenever Elisha passed by. This event should prompt us to ask, who were these prophets and how did they live? The prophets of old were not members of an institution like the priesthood or the kingship. So there is no socially recognized process of remuneration or providing for their welfare. Unlike the priests who survived through a socially and legally recognized process of remuneration, the prophets did not have this kind of resource. You can read Deuteronomy chapter 18, 1 to 8 to see that the Torah actually made provisions for the upkeep of priests, but not for the prophets. Now, the prophets, on the other hand, were charismatic individuals who did not have this socially recognized way of being provided for. And a good example of this is found in the relationship between Elisha and the Shunammite woman. Now, Elisha depended on this woman to feed and probably had no provisions for his journey at that material time. Now, let's come back to the gospel. Jesus says anyone who receives his follower receives him, and the one who provides for a prophet receives a prophet's reward. What we see here is that Jesus was calling his followers to be like the prophets of old who had nothing but depended entirely on God's providence for their survival. And this providence is expressed in the goodwill of others, as we saw in the Shunammite woman's provision for Elisha. Now, the first message goes to the missionaries who bring Christ to people. Those who follow Jesus radically must be ready for sacrifice, having little or close to nothing, but completely dependent on God. The papacy of Pope Francis has greatly underlined this aspect of the missionary and priestly life. The missionary, like a prophet, must be a man of faith. And one of the greatest ways of expressing faith is to feel comfortable, depending entirely on God. For those who receive them, please make sure you are a good instrument of divine providence receiving these missionaries and priests. Get yourself disposed to be used as an instrument of divine providence that provides for God's workers. There are rewards for everything good, and God especially rewards this kind of generosity. The example of the Shunammite woman is there for us to see. She was blessed with a child she had wanted for so many years. God bless the missionaries, God bless those who provide for them, and God bless you for listening. Have a happy Sunday and a beautiful week.